people are asking us, should they cancel? Should they cancel the contract? Should they pull the listing, pull the house off the market? I mean, these are things that are normal questions at this point. I mean, obviously we're dealing with a lot of uncertainty right now.
How the coronavirus is impacting real estate. I'm Mark Hayes with Rob Rahter, a real estate expert at Stockworth. Yesterday we heard from Mike Kelly, an attorney who updated us on the construction industry. And this week we'll also hear from Jason Schmidt, whose article was just published in Forbes on how social media impacts real estate. But Rob, from the trenches, what's going on?
Well, we're definitely seeing the impacts, Mark. I mean, things are starting to slow down a little bit. Been busier than ever. Really, starting last November, the market really took off.
You've been slammed.
Our inventory was incredibly low, and so the market has been very, very busy. And it's still busy, but obviously not as much as it was. We've obviously seen a big slowdown, less the coronavirus, I think, and more just in terms of the financial impact of that and what that's going to do. The uncertainty of the market is really kind of where we're seeing.
What are some of the questions that your clients are asking you right now?
Well, people are asking us, should they cancel? Should they cancel the contract? Should they pull the listing, pull the house off the market? I mean, these are things that are normal questions at this point. I mean, obviously we're dealing with a lot of uncertainty right now. So we don't know the answers to these questions. We think we know that this has an end. This is not going to be something that's going to go on forever. This is not a terrorist attack where we don't know whether we're going to be attacked again.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, we know that there's, and even the president just a short while ago was saying, we were 15 days into this as of yesterday, so 14 today. And so at the end of the month, really, we think we're going to be out of the woods, we hope. So there's a recovery there that we already think is going to happen. Now, how that recovery looks, we don't know. No one knows. This really has not ever happened, of course. So all the predictions you're hearing out there, it's really just speculation and educated guesses. But if you kind of focus on the positive and realize that there really is an end to this and that this really will pass, obviously there's a financial impact that's going to happen to this. But I mean, we hear the president talk about it as well, that we're going to see a recovery after this. It's going to be a strong recovery, we would expect.
A snapback.
Right. So people are not going to be happy sitting in their homes for 15 days. They're going to get out of their home on day 16 and go crazy and go out to restaurants and everything else.
That's right.
Now, whether or not that impact is going to be something that we can recover from quickly, only time will tell. But I mean, Disney, Universal, all these places, we would expect to see the crowds would return once this is over.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing too from other agents is, you know, the sellers still want to sell their house, and the buyers still want to buy their house. And I had Susan Weston from Fidelity earlier. A lot of the professionals, when we're all working, right?
Right, absolutely.
And so in that case, it's business as usual.
Well, and clients are asking me, I had a closing this morning, and we talked about it at the table. We said, you know, they were like, we didn't know if we should cancel or not. I said, well, look, 2 weeks from now, you're going to be glad that you didn't cancel because you need the house. You've got to live somewhere. You've got to quarantine somewhere, for lack of a better explanation. But the reality is, if you're looking to flip a home, you know, the financial impact of this is probably the unknown. I think I'd be more concerned about buying a home and flipping it right now. I'd be a little cautious about that. But if you're buying a home to live in for your family, keep going. So
what are some precautions you're telling the sellers and buyers that we're doing to protect our clients?
Sure. So really, for me, it's a 4 key word for the B's. Be informed, be smart, be aware, and be safe.
So be informed. I'll just tell you right now, I think you got to go straight to the CDC and get it directly from them and not go all over the social media looking for that kind of news.
Right. Well, Facebook is a great place for us to interact with each other, but that's not a place for news. That really shouldn't be your first stop for finding out what's happening in the world. I mean, it's great for spreading information about school closures, et cetera, but when you want real information, you know, turn on a legitimate news source and figure out exactly what's happening. Yes. So be informed from that aspect. Be informed of the risks. Everyone's in a different situation. So if you've got kids at home, you know, the likelihood of them getting coronavirus is very, very slim. However, what the experts are telling us is the reason that we're being quarantined is because we are the spreaders of this. You know, mom and dad who are in their 70s or 80s,
That's
and
a great point.
They're the ones that are more likely to be at risk of actually catching coronavirus. So our job more as a service project as a nation to keep ourselves quarantined to protect our generation, the older generation.
Right.
So be informed on that way. Be smart. Again, same thing. Be smart about what your needs are, what the reality is. I mean, this whole rush on toilet papers is absolutely asinine. I mean, I don't understand why everyone thinks they need to go get toilet paper.
Right.
I mean, obviously you need to have supplies on hand, but the president keeps saying the stores are not closing.
Right.
So if everyone would just stop buying the stuff they don't need, it'll be there when you need it. So that's absolutely ridiculous. That's not being smart. Be aware of what's happening. Be aware of your surroundings. I mean, at the closing this morning, they handed out pens. Everyone was sitting kind of far apart, but we signed with the pen and we threw the pens away. We're done. So, I mean, there's really no risk, we assume, if we're smart in how we're doing this stuff,
Right.
that we're actually closing homes and getting things done.
Have you seen, when we have the hurricanes, we all kind of pull together,
Sure.
the employees, the management,
Right.
the buyers and sellers, the attorneys, the title people. Are you kind of seeing that happen already?
Absolutely. Well, you see that across the board. It's actually funny you asked that, because even driving over here, the president was talking about how
You're more
he
polite
and the
driving?
government. Well, I'm going more for political. I mean,
Right.
it's actually interesting to see the political leaders of our country coming together, and we're not hearing the backstabbing and the backstabbing is the wrong word. We're not hearing the negativeness toward each
Right.
other. He was even saying he was talking to Governor Cuomo of New York, and they had a great conversation.
I
and they're on the
heard
same
that.
page, right?
I didn't actually.
And I'm thinking, this
Did
is
you listen
great.
to it?
Absolutely, it was brilliant. This is
Okay, good,
awesome. So it's
good.
good to see us as Americans. This is what we
Right.
did after 9/11. We come together, we help each other out. So same deal right now. So my neighbor was headed over to Costco the other day. My wife said, "Would you grab this and this and this?" Absolutely. This is what we do as Americans. We come together. So in the political climate that we've been in, maybe this is a good thing. Who knows? We'll see. Time will tell.
Well, look, I want to thank you for coming in. I know you're busy, and everyone's busy. And if anybody needs anything, our agents are working all week, and we're keeping both offices open. And if you need something for the yard of their house, don't think about us just for the transaction, but all your real estate needs.
Right, absolutely.
And,
I mean, we're out there in the trenches every day, not just when this happens.
Right.
So we know people. Our job is to be relationship makers and relationship putter together. So that's what we do. Absolutely.
So you'll come back and give us more updates?
Absolutely.
All right, Rob, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, that was it.
No touchy.
Oh, that's right.